And these are all themes that, looking back, I realize have been really huge in my life. I've been fascinated by the neuroscience of behavior, mostly because of my joy in participating in music, dance, theater, circus.
Orbiting 250 miles above, the space station provides us with the ultimate view of planet Earth. From this perspective, we ask our guests to engage with 6 questions that orbit around wonder and stories of hopefulness. For the next few minutes, this is our Wonderspace.
Welcome to the 137th episode of the Wonderspace Podcast. My name is Steve Cole, and over the past 3.5 years, I have asked the same 6 questions to amazing people from around the world. Questions that orbit around wonder and stories of hopefulness. We started during the COVID lockdown to enlarge people's vision and perspective and remind everyone that alongside crisis and emergency are always mind-blowing wonders and hopeful stories that have the potential to fuel us and energize us, even in the most challenging of times. Before I introduce our guest this week, here is a 1-minute wonder from our friends at Ask Nature, who are part of the Biomimicry Institute.
Cuttlefish are renowned for their ability to control the colors and patterns on their skin. But equally important to their survival is the ability to control buoyancy nearly effortlessly. The secret lies in their cuttlebone, a unique internal shell consisting of parallel sheaths of a form of calcium carbonate, separated by numerous S-shaped pillars that create countless chambers filled with gas and liquid. To increase buoyancy and float up, cuttlefish simply pump liquid out of the cuttlebone chambers, allowing dissolved gas from their internal fluids to fill the space. Conversely, to decrease buoyancy and sink, they draw liquid back into the chambers, increasing their density. This dynamic adjustment is crucial for maintaining a fixed depth without expending much energy. The cuttlebone's intricate design also allows it to be lightweight, while still able to withstand the incredible pressures deep in the ocean.
This week on Wonderspace, we ask our 6 questions to Dr Danbee Kim, a Korean-American neuroscientist and performance artist. They use live drawing and music, theatre games, robotics, and graphic novels to teach neuroscience to curious humans of all ages. Danbee's PhD in neuroscience developed a framework for bringing neuroscience research out of the lab and into daily life. This has led to work alongside people like Sarah Corbett from the Craftivist Collective, who was one of the first guests on Wonderspace. Danbee, it's great to have you on board a Wonderspace orbit today. This is the first time I have asked our 6 questions to a neuroscientist, so I'm really excited about these next few minutes together. So firstly, from this imaginary window seat on the space station with a panoramic overview of Earth, our first question is, if we could do a fly past over any part of the world that is significant to you, which place, city or country would it be and why?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you. And yeah, I think for this first question, I would want to fly over the Korean Peninsula. My parents are both from South Korea. That is my cultural heritage and my first language. But they immigrated to the US before I was born. And I have now immigrated to the UK. And so I haven't really had much chance to visit Korea and to connect with my extended family. It's also a place that is quite bittersweet because of the division of the Korean Peninsula. So it's a place that I still feel very deeply connected to, even though I haven't spent very much time there. It's a deeply emotional place for me physically. And yeah, I was actually a bit challenged by this question because my family did so much moving around. And I also, at first, I thought, I don't feel very much of a connection to any specific location. But yeah, I think since we're already up in space and already seeing the world as this beautiful marble, if I had to, pick a specific spot, it would be that. Yeah.
That's so good. Amazing. And obviously we've got these 6 questions, and I know this next question is going to be such a challenge in such a short space of time. And I know there's so many layers to your life, but Danbee, give us a glimpse into your life story so far with an emphasis on what you're doing currently.
I was born in the US, moved around a lot. We lived in Michigan, Virginia, Tennessee, California, Mississippi. Then I went to uni up in Massachusetts. Spent about 10 years there, really loved the vibe and the people there. And then decided I couldn't handle Boston winters anymore and went to grad school in Portugal. Ran away to the beach, shall we say. And then from there, had an incredible PhD experience with my advisor, Adam Kampf, who was very encouraging of me, really deeply questioning how neuroscience research is being done in the academic space. And then when he moved to London, he offered to help everyone in the lab move to London with him. I had never really considered London to be a place that I wanted to live in, but I thought, here's an incredible opportunity. Let's try it. And I've now been here almost 10 years and have discovered an incredible energy for blending science with art and art with activism. And these are all themes that, looking back, I realize have been really huge in my life. I've been fascinated by the neuroscience of behavior, mostly because of my joy in participating in music, dance, theater, circus. I graduated my PhD in end of 2020 in the heart of lockdown, then worked in the startup space for a few years, found that exhilarating but also exhausting, and discovered that it was very difficult for me to really place my values and my ethics front and center while working in that space, and decided, it was a combination of, bringing up some feedback at my last job, which led to my redundancy, but with a lot of support, very grateful for that, which has allowed me for the last few months to explore what it would be like if I were to start my own enterprise, do my own thing. And so now I'm working on a project that uses circus and theater to help people access, learn, and apply neuroscience to their daily lives.
Yeah, amazing. That's so inspiring. Danbee, in one of our first Wonderspace episodes, I interviewed the brilliant Sarah Corbett, founder of the Craftivist Collective. And you've worked with Sarah for a number of years, and I believe that you are a contributor in her new book, which is coming out in May, called the Craftivist Collective Handbook. So what's your involvement with Sarah and the collective?
Okay, so I met Sarah, and I didn't realize it at the time, through one of her exes, who is like a visual effects engineer, working at a studio very close by to the research institute where I was at. We met very serendipitously while having lunch outside in one of these like little green spaces, and got to chatting. And he was like, there's someone I think you ought to meet. And so then, we arranged like a pub night with the three of us. And from but by Sarah's account, basically, the two of us like sat on either side of her ex and just like started going at it, just chatting, while Matt was just like, oh yeah, I've done a good thing here. I love the concept of craftivism, and it was something that I hadn't really thought about, but absolutely aligned completely with my values when it came into the research space of how do we really honor the diversity of how people need to be able to show up into different spaces. People want to show solidarity, even though they may not all be able to express it in some of the most popularized ways. And so this absolutely like resonated with me. And then I also was expressing to Sarah how frustrated I have been and continue to be when it comes to how neuroscience research is shared and presented in other areas of expertise. And so when I expressed these frustrations, I think that also struck a chord with Sarah when she was like, I really want people to feel like the craftivist work is deeply embedded in something that is not only, validated by a lot of work in other fields that has a rigorous foundation, but I want to share that in a way that brings people in instead of feeling like an intimidating, like, oh, look at how shiny and good, credible we are, and more just, look, here is another tool for you to be able to use in your daily life. And so I think we really connected over that. That's just been the theme of our collaboration. It's always been this idea of how do we bring more people in? How do we increase accessibility? And it's been an absolute pleasure knowing Sarah and becoming friends with her over the course of these collaborations.
So good. Great. And Danbee, with so many layers to your life, where on earth is your place of reset or recharge?
Okay, I would say if I have to pick a place, it would be currently my bedroom, which is I'm actually a glorified butler for my cats. And my room right now is sort of this penthouse for one of my cats, Minima. It's a south-facing, very, very small room with many, many windows. I also have a lot of plants in there. And it's my space where I can say, like, this is where I can go, and I know everything will be exactly as I want it to be, as I have left it to be. I mean, other than, Minnie running around. And sometimes when, some of the most calming moments for me have been when I've been able to say, right, I need a break. I'm just going to lie on the floor with my cat, make faces at her, make silly sounds, and we're going to roll around on the carpet. And after like 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can go back to doing whatever it is I'm doing.
That's great. And what wonder of the natural world excites you the most?
Absolutely the ocean. I think the ocean is such a huge part of our planet, and there's so much we have learned and we have yet to learn about it. The thing that drew me back to academia was when I learned about the existence of cuttlefish. They are part of a family of animals called cephalopods. Evolutionarily, they are related to mollusks, which all have shells to protect them. But cephalopods gave up those shells and exchanged that for the ability to morph. They can use their nervous systems to quickly and rapidly adapt their color, their shape, the texture of their skin. So octopus are also part of this family. So are squids. And I find it absolutely fascinating that their nervous systems are so expressive. They literally wear their hearts and their minds on their skin. And I feel like it's really taught me a lot about how observing carefully any creature and I love this metaphor that I have discovered of with humans. We also express a lot through our skin. We talk about, people being red with embarrassment, green with envy, white with fear. And so I'm like, humans are in a way kind of like cuttlefish as well. So absolutely obsessed with the ocean and all the incredible things that the creatures that live there.
Oh, that's so good. So Our fifth question, Danbee, takes the focus onto someone else. What is your story of hopefulness that's not your own, about a person, business, or non-profit who are doing amazing things for the world? So who would you love to give a shout out to today?
Yeah, I would love to big up my friend Judy, who runs an event called Party in Your Pants. And it is a desexualized, feminist, topless, black light rave party. And it is genuinely the safest environment I have ever been in when it comes to, so I love dancing, but I always thought, I'm not really someone who goes to clubs. I don't like that environment. I don't feel safe there. And I always thought it was a shame because I think there's something beautiful and amazing about being in a space and moving in synchrony together with a bunch of people. And when when I moved to London and coming out of lockdown, some of my friends took me to my first Party in Your Pants party. And I'm so deeply impressed by this thing that Judy has created because, okay, you can say conceptually, we want to create a desexualized space. But here's the reality. We all grew up in a society that is patriarchal, that is misogynistic, that's highly sexualized. And so how do you get over the inevitable awkwardness that comes from, we have a bunch of people who are trying, but we're not quite sure how to be in a space and create an environment that is desexualized. So the clever thing that Judy has done is there is an activity. Your ticket to Party in Your Pants includes as many UV paint markers as you can use. And the activity is, because it's also clothing optional, so you're like surrounded by these bodies and it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But the activity is you walk up to someone, you say, hi, my name's Danbee. May I draw on you? And it turns out, actually, I was like, Judy, this is so clever. This is brilliant what you've done. And she confessed to me, she was like, actually, what I was trying to do is I was trying to create safe spaces for adults to engage in art. But as soon as you say to an adult, like, oh, I want you to be playful in an artistic space, so many people go, oh, but I'm not an artist. I don't really draw. And so there's already this level of intimidation that arises. And so she was like, how about we make it doodling? Oh, wait, how about we make it's a dance party and clothing optional. The only thing required is you must wear your pants, but also you don't have to be naked at all if you don't want to. And we're going to draw on each other. And suddenly you forget that you're surrounded by naked bodies. You forget that you're creating art. And you're just, meeting people. And it's just this extended icebreaker activity that helps people engage with each other without all of the baggage that we've placed on bodies, on art. And yeah, it's really, really incredible. And Judy is also a passionate activist who has spent many, many years engaging in activism through art. And so, yeah, I just want to make a big shout out to her and to Party in Your Pants. It's one of the most incredible communities that I've engaged with. And I know that it has been a life-saving experience for many, many people in London, in Brighton, and they're hoping to spread to more cities around the UK. So yeah, big, big shout out to Judy and Party in Your Pants.
That's amazing. This has been such an inspiring orbit, Danbee. And as we draw our time to a close and prepare to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, what insight, wisdom, or question would you like to leave with us?
Yeah, so something that I've been thinking about a lot is this idea of kinship, that, yeah, from a neuroscience perspective, we very much deeply need each other. And how can we create structures where we can honor and meet that need in a way that is gentle, that is kind, that is consensual, that can, make space for the incredible, beautiful diversity of personalities and natural inclinations that we all exist in. And so, yeah, I'd love to leave everyone with this question of, what is it that makes me feel safe and makes me feel happy? What kinds of interactions and relationships bring out the best in me, and how can I nurture that in my community and beyond? So yeah, this idea of kinship is very dear to me right now.
That's great. Danbee, you are brilliant. Thank you so much for helping us to re-wonder today and for sharing your hopeful stories. You are so inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve, for inviting me in, asking me these amazing, delightful questions, and for holding the space for me to have this chat with you.
I hope you enjoyed this orbit with Danbee. I finish with a question. What is your story of hopefulness that's not your own, about a person, business or non-profit who are doing amazing things for the world? A story that makes a name for someone else. Thanks for listening.